we have a large library of learning content that spans many, many different categories. But I think the point of meeting learners where they are is really important. So we have a Teams app, we have web-based apps, we're working on a Slack app. But I think sort of zooming out a little bit, it's really interesting to me that we're even talking about skills. If I think about education and the sort of the history of education, it used to be the challenge was sort of cramming knowledge into people's heads, right? Like you had to know what year the War of 1812 happened and stuff like that, right? And now we don't talk about that anymore because we have sort of all the data, all the facts are available at our fingertips. And it really is this skills gap that we're trying to address. And what we see is there's sort of, I think of it in sort of three tiers. The first tier, and where a lot of L&D started out, is really around compliance, the things you must do to be employed here. And then I think the second two tiers that we've seen, and certainly the pandemic has been an accelerant of this, are what are the things I need to do to prosper in my job? And so probably one of the top courses or categories of courses we've been seeing is actually Excel, because you can't turn to the person in the cube next to you and say, how do pivot tables work again? You have to find a resource for that. And then I'd say the top of that pyramid that we're also seeing, which is still related, is really how do I actually thrive and be happy and self-actualized in this role? And so we have a lot of courses and material that is also, we've seen a surge in the consumption of around things like meditation, mindfulness at work, conflict resolution, those kinds of things. And again, really finding a way to match up the individual with the content that they need in the moment. And also, and I guess the last thing I'll say on this, I've been in tech now for 3 decades, and L&D online e-learning really reminds me of what e-commerce was like in the late 90s. And I think there's so much innovation ahead of us, and the ability to really figure out, is this a person who learns well with like small bites, 10 minutes a day? Or is it somebody who likes to go deep for 8 hours on something? Or are they more of a visual learner or an auditory learner? Or do they need to engage? Or do they do better in a team setting? So it's early. I'm super excited because I'm only a year into this industry. I've been in human capital management for about a decade. But meeting people where they are and with what they need is the opportunity and the challenge.
Mm-hmm.